Hey everyone, you're watching Preppy Kitchen, where I, John Cannell, teach you how to make delicious homemade dishes to share with your family and friends. And today, it is the most important sharing dish ever, a birthday cake for my twin boys, Lachlan and George. It's a white cake, fluffy, moist, covered in creamy Swiss meringue buttercream and lots of sprinkles because it's a birthday cake for 2-year-old boys. Okay, let's get started. First off, I'm adding a 1/4 cup of Greek yogurt plain into a medium-sized bowl. You don't have to use yogurt. You could use sour cream, or you could just use milk if you really feel like it. This will add the slightest bit of tang, but a lot of moisture. I don't even taste the tang, to be honest. 1/2 cup, 1/4 cup, for a total of 3/4 of a cup of whole milk. I'm also adding in 1 teaspoon of white vinegar. Kind of odd, but it's going to help react to leavening agents, and that's basically it. You want to add the acid in because it'll make your leavening agents really go into overdrive and you have a fluffier but still moist cake. That's the secret to red velvet cake. Always has vinegar in it. Okay, if you want to see my red velvet cake, click up here. So delicious, and hello, cream cheese frosting. Who could not love that? My husband, that's who. He hates it. All right, set it aside. Now it's time for the dry ingredients. Have a big bowl with a sifter over a scale, just by the by. Starting off with 1 2/3 cups of flour, all-purpose please. That's gonna be 200 grams. 1/2 teaspoon of salt, 1/4 teaspoon of baking soda, and a full teaspoon of baking powder. Those are our leavening agents, and they'll be reacting with the vinegar. We can sift it out, move that scale aside, and whisk it up. All right, set this aside while we cream our butter up. I cannot believe the boys are 2 today. That is so crazy to me. It seems like just yesterday that we were in the hospital picking them up and they were like little tiny incy bincy baby nuggets. That's 3/4 of a cup of unsalted room temperature butter into the stand mixer. That's 170 grams-ish, in case you're wondering. And then let's just cream it up for a second. Add the sugar in, 1 full cup, 200 grams. Let it get nice and light and fluffy. Okay, right now you can scrape the bowl of your mixer down. A little bit more mixing. I'm gonna add in 3 egg whites. This is a white cake, so the whole thing is we're not gonna use anything dark. The butter is the darkest thing in this cake. Crack the white in there. If the yolk broke, it wouldn't be like the end of the world, by the way, because we're not making a meringue or anything. It's just about the color. Carefully remove that dainty yolk and set it aside. You can make some delicious French buttercream, which you can click up here for, with those egg yolks. It is like pipeable custard and a dream come true. Right. Just scrape this down. Looks a little messy. And yolk, egg white number 3. Yolk. Sounds like a broken record, but scrape that bowl down again. It makes a difference. And then before I turn it back on, let's talk about flavorings. Normally, I would love a vanilla cake, but real vanilla, which is the only kind of vanilla I use, has a very dark color. So what are the alternates? Well, since you ask, you could use almond extract, orange blossom water, or rose water. Any of those are wonderful and clear, and today I'll be using rose water because I love the smell of roses on a cake. Ah, this smells like heaven. I made the mistake of drinking this straight once, just a little sip, and don't do that. Don't do it. You only add in 1 to 2 teaspoons. So that's 1 teaspoon, and I'm gonna add like a 1/2. Oof. There we go, 1.5 teaspoons and a drop. Mix it up. It smells so good. Okay. Normally, I would just butter and flour my little pans, but today we are going to be adding a parchment paper round because I have a caprice. Just trace around. This is like quadrupled up, and you're gonna cut out inside of the line. And these will fit in nicely. Let the cake release. Let's see if I have enough of this to carry me through. It's just some baking spray, which is oil mixed with flour, a convenience. Look at that. Just enough. That's nice. Your parchment rounds. Oh my gosh. What was that? Place your parchment rounds inside. And I'm just gonna take a little butter and carefully spread it around. I'll clean everything up later, I promise. So if you've made cakes before, you know the drill. We're gonna add in our dry and wet mixtures in alternating batches while mixing on low. 3 batches. Start with the dry, add half of the wet, a little more dry, the rest of the wet. Wow! It's a party. Let's scrape the bowl down. And add the rest of the dry ingredients in. There you go. Just mix it up for like a minute. And by a minute, I mean 30 seconds. And we have a nice cohesive batter that we can finish off by hand with our spatula. Do you think the boys are gonna like their rose cake? I wonder. We'll see. All right, I'm gonna divide my batter equally into my 3 prepared 6-inch pans. I feel like with the pans, it's 450 grams per, but I'm not sure. Yeah, it ends up being about 460 grams per with my 6-inch Fat Daddy-O's pans, in case you're wondering. Just give it a preliminary smooth. Not perfect, it'll self-level in the oven, but you want to have a nice start. I'd give my pans a little tap in case there's any air bubbles or whatever hiding out. And now for my cake strips. Click up here if you don't know about cake strips. They are amazing. Give you really nice flat cake layers. There's no trimming needed and they're really great for stacking. All right, they're gonna bake for about half an hour in your oven set to 350 F, 177 Celsius. And just make sure you move the pans around in case your oven has any hot spots like mine does. While those cake layers in the oven, I'm gonna quickly whip up a batch of my favorite Swiss meringue buttercream. So light and dreamy. You can click up here for that full how-to video, but we'll take you through it real quick. 5 egg whites. I'm using 3 bowls for safety in case a yolk breaks, because this time it does matter. I don't want any yolk in my egg whites. Into my bowl and move it along. It's a little assembly line. Yes, it means more dishes, but it also means less heartache. Yeah. In you go. And the 5th egg. Okay, 5 egg whites in there and 1.5 cups of sugar. In you go. Give this a quick whip. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Give it a quick and careful whip. And now this will go over a pot of simmering, not boiling, simmering water where the water does not touch the bowl, and have a steam bath to heat it up gently as we whisk continually until it reaches 160 degrees Celsius. No, Fahrenheit. I wiped my bowl down with a little bit of vinegar just to make sure there's no fat left in there. And now we're gonna pour in our 160 degree egg white sugar mixture. I added a pinch of salt while I was whisking it. I don't know if you caught that, but right now we're gonna lock it, start mixing it, and I'm actually gonna pack the bowl with a bit of ice, or frozen peas. This needs to be room temperature before we add the butter in. So mix it up. There you go. Still a bit warm, but I'm gonna add the butter in anyways and pop it into the fridge if it's soupy. It's always a solution. 1 full pound of butter, or 2 cups, into the mixer, a dollop at a time. That was on purpose because the best practice is actually to not use don't use this. You can, but it will whip a little bit more air in, and you want it to be on the creamy side, not on the bubbly side. Okay. There we go. Mixture's a bit warm, so I will pop the whole thing into the fridge for about 5 minutes, just to learn a lesson and cool down a bit. So you can see the cake layers are done. They just started pulling away from the pan, and we can pop them out. And I should be able to take that paper off, although it's very hot. That is what I call a white cake. And if you see how fluffy this is, fluff. You can always like move the cakes around in the pans a bit to tell if they're done too. Pretty nice. Remember that vanilla cake? I learned my lesson. But anyways, perfect flat cake layers, really fluffy, and we'll let them cool carefully over there. I actually put the bowl in the freezer because the fridge is chock full right now, and hung it there for like 5 minutes, really cooled down nicely. A little bit of a whip, and you can see this is what it's supposed to look like. Really nice and creamy, holding its shape. I'm gonna add in like a teaspoon of vanilla, a little spalsh for flavor. Okay, that's it. We're ready to assemble as soon as those cake layers are nice and cool. Now it's time for the fun part, the assembly. Go ahead and cover that first layer in buttercream. I like to pipe it on, but you can just give it a nice smear. Add the second layer, cover it in more buttercream, then add the third layer and give it a nice coat. You actually don't have to crumb coat this cake, but you can. Crumb coating helps keep the crumbs off, and it makes it really stable because you'll add a thin layer of buttercream on, chill it, and then add the final layer of buttercream on. Use an offset spatula to give the top a smooth, and then a bench scraper to give the side a smooth. Smooth, and then when you're ready, use that offset spatula to clean the top of the cake off. Pull in while you're turning. A turntable really helps for this. You can chill your cake for a few minutes or go on to the next step, which is the confetti. I love these confetti sprinkles. They are a little bit hard to find, but you can buy them online. So cheerful though. Use your hand to push gently onto the side, and then just toss a few on to create a gradient. Use a large closed or open star tip to pipe little dollops onto the edge, and then sprinkle some more confetti sprinkles onto the top. I actually ended up taking off a couple of the ones in the center. It was too much. Okay, so this is the piece, but I am not a monster. I will not be eating my child's birthday cake before they get to blow the candles out. I will be like pushing it back together, smoothing it out, using all of my baking magic so they never knew it happened in their 2-year-old world. This, by the way, is so fluffy, and I'm totally attributing it to the vinegar. Really made a big difference, but you're not gonna taste it. Need to taste a bit more. Oh. If you like this recipe, check out my cake playlist. I have all my top hits: German chocolate, perfect chocolate, vanilla, funfetti. You'll love them all, and they are delicious. If you like my recipes, hit that like button and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.